sounds like a baby.
Yeah. He talks back to me.
Oh my goodness. And we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Catalyst for the Trades podcast. I'm Jennifer Bagley, your host today, and I'm so excited to have Dave Kaynar, CEO of OnePath, with us. And we have a special guest that's kind of sitting in the background right now. If you guys remember Garfield is actually crawling around Dave's legs. Look at this 19-pound beauty. We are specifically bringing Garfield to the podcast today to increase our views.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you hear some crazy kind of whining in the background, that's Garfield.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. So this is what happens backstage before we go live, you guys. If you do not know Dave, this is a very, very important podcast. I am so excited to have him with me. He is one of the most brilliant AI engineers and experts in the entire trade space. And I am so thankful for you taking time to be with us today. So tell me a little bit about your history.
Yeah.
And how you got into AI. I know this has been quite a journey.
Yeah, actually, so I have been in tech with my company for more than 15 years. Then I relocated to the United States in 2017 and started a company in California, Silicon Valley, in 2019 that was called Buckeye. And Buckeye was backed by, VCs and institutions like UC Berkeley's Skydeck funds, and they told us, you guys have a good tool for optimizing and automating stuff in a small business, but you should find a niche. Now, then we had literally tried, car dealerships and real estate agents and all that stuff, and that's when we have come to realize that home services in 2019, I'm talking about, there was almost no automation in home services back at the time, and our technology could be very useful. So I ended up spending some time in contractors' offices and understanding how the operations work, and we ended up writing the first dispatch automation ever publicly available to the market back in 2019. And then the pandemic happened, and everybody's operations went nuts. Yeah. So everybody was literally about in the home services industry was like this. How can I make sure I am literally managing this 150% over capacity with my 10 technicians so we can maximize the revenue? And Buckeye, my previous company, was at the right time at the right place. So we end up being a partner to Service Titan, a partner to Nexstar, a partner to a whole bunch of other best practice networks, and we learned a great deal about the industry. And that's how we kind of came into AI, because, we were intimidated to use the word AI back in 2020.
I remember. No, I used to. So I had a course that I did for Daikin. It was a 2-day workshop, 8 hours a day. And my course title and description included AI. It included MCP pipelines and data pipelines. It included VR and AR. And you know how many requests I got for that? This was none.
Yeah, I would imagine. Exactly.
Everybody just wanted digital marketing. I'm like, no, but this is so much more intelligent. We have predictive abilities. But that was when we were just doing everything via traditional code, pipeline management, and so forth.
Yeah.
And we were before our time, as were you.
So, and actually, through our work at Buckeye, we had a chance to analyze a huge data set of comprised of many contractors, 20 million jobs worth of data.
Yeah.
On HVAC, plumbing, and electrical verticals, and so on. And what we found out was, number one, 80% of the tasks that are happening in a home service company on a daily basis are repetitive, and they could be automated. And more importantly, we were trying to optimize the dispatch operations for these guys. That was awesome. But the bigger gap was in the leads management.
Mm-hmm.
Because almost every contractor that we knew were spending huge amount of money to marketing, like PPC, local search ads, agencies, all that stuff. And almost everyone was also complaining about, hey, there are not enough leads, or there are not enough quality leads in this side of the equation. So what's happening in between? So what's happening in between was, well, things were slipping through the cracks, honestly. And that problem ended up being a company called OnePath, which is the first agentic AI leads management solution tailored for the trades. And well, here we are.
Here we are. And yeah, I think this has become more heightened. At least companies are becoming more consciously aware. I'll call out Searchlight for bringing attention to this, because when Searchlight launched, these guys developed a platform that allowed you to be able to view what your booking rate was, what your match rate was. And I think companies, for the first time, I think they really felt like, my team's doing a good job, I'm not worried about it, and so forth. But when you look at book rates across the entire industry, we're looking at 30 to 40% of total leads are getting booked. That is a crime.
Oh yeah. Especially if you're working in an industry where the cost per lead can go up to $300-400 in the busy season. And
right.
Yeah, we should thank John and Searchlight for all the effort and all that stuff. I would agree 1,000%. And then it highlighted the very problem of, well, okay, guys, so what are we doing here? Because technically speaking, from the financial point of view, HVAC in particular, and electrical tools sometimes, it's one of the most profitable small business verticals, or potentially profitable.
Should be.
Yeah, should be profitable verticals in the United States. However, that's not the case that we are seeing every day. Now, that highlights a huge gap. Now, I know that we had talked a few times. You have been a great host to me in Seattle and so on. I have shown you the OnePath and all that stuff. But there's something that I didn't tell you before.
Okay. Oh, I'm in.
So the first job that I got in my career, 20 years ago, was in a Toyota plant. It's a car manufacturing plant, and I was a project manager for a software gig and whatnot and stuff like that. But as a part of that effort, I learned how Japanese people, and in particular Toyota, were approaching to quote unquote lead management practices or lean management practices. And in the lean management, basically they try to eliminate every kind of wasteful activity.
Yes.
That was why back in the 80s and 90s, they were 6 times more profitable than Ford and GM and everybody else.
Six Sigma.
And all the Kaizen, Six Sigma, Kanban. Yes. I learned all of that stuff like 25 years ago. And then, so,
on a side note, I became, let's see here, this had to be in the early 2000s. I became a Six Sigma black belt. And I feel like I lost family members and friends because of it, because I couldn't see past inefficiencies. They drove me crazy.
Yeah.
Like I had such OCD that I couldn't even walk into my family's house without analyzing every move, where everything was placed, and looking at the volume of inefficiencies, just living. And that's not a good friend to have.
Oh yeah, definitely. Exactly. And so imagine there's a feng shui bot in your home highlighting everything, and it's just like that. So what happened to me is, when I got into trades, when I got into working with contractors and trades companies, it all came back to me. It all came back that, hey, you guys are doing this wrong. You should have doing this and stuff like that. And I have started seeing pockets of profitability almost everywhere in the organization, and that's
free money.
Exactly, because it's just there. You just have to grab it. That's it, nothing else.
Yep.
And I think it is entirely doable for a home services business to have an EBITDA of 25 to 30%. Honestly,
easily.
It's entirely doable. I mean, it's not an outlier. It should be the standard. So if we are seeing the rates way lower than this, which we are right now, it is because of this huge waste in terms of money, time, leads, and all that stuff in the organization, honestly.
I just did a workshop. It was an AI financial mastery workshop. And what I had everybody do was take their P&L, load it into their paid workspace, by the way, not into free GPT. So don't go do that. Okay. Paid workspace. So you're not training the LLM, but I had them load their current P&L in there. And I gave them an entire series of prompts, basically to reconfigure their entire business and P&L as if they were an AI enabled business.
Yeah.
And watch what it does to their EBITDA without increasing their marketing dollars, without increasing spend, without even expanding their marketing activities.
Right.
That's exactly what you're talking about, is the efficiencies that you're able to put into a business. I mean, you're just something simple as taking your book rate from 30% to 80% or 60% can add $1 million, $2 million, $3 million to your top line.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And so then we have started, building technology for OnePath. Essentially, it's a collection of AI agents that is tailored for and trained on for scoring the leads, acquiring the lead, scoring the lead, nurturing the lead, following up with the lead, and then eventually closing the lead, booking the appointment, and then retaining the customer, actually, like the whole customer process. Because one of the other things that I have observed in the industry is, there is a disruption in the usual scientific terminology, such as a software that is used to move technicians from point A to point B and getting payments is called a field service management software. It is not a CRM. CRM is something that you manage your customer's journey entirely, from the acquisition, the awareness to, the retention period of time. Now,
from prospect.
Yeah, from prospect.
Right. From prospect, not starting at customer, which
exactly.
Technically, none of the platforms in the trades industry are good at this.
They are not configured to do so, because in order to be able to manage the field, you need to start with the customers and technicians and jobs. You need 3 entities for that: customers, technicians, jobs. Then you can start building something on it. Now, obviously, when you have leads, that's an entirely different question, because they are not customers yet. There's no technician to go there to, and so on. So there's no jobs yet. So basically, it becomes kind of like sideline activity. Now, what we had built, is it okay if I show my screen? I guess it should be fine, right?
Yeah. We haven't done that on the podcast, so let's go. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, okay. So share screen.
You guys, by the way, this is what happens when you put nerds in the nerdery together on a podcast, is you get a screen share.
Exactly. So this is OnePath, and what this is the first example of a proper lead funnel that is ever applied to home services. In OnePath, you can see where your leads are, how well your organization is in converting those leads, like from sales qualified leads to prospects, and then from prospects to customers, and then from customers to repeat customers, if that matters. And you can see the all time, you can see the monthly values, you can see the weekly values, and so on. And more importantly, you can go and you can see the state-specific KPIs on OnePath. Now, that was the first thing that we built. We built some sort of a dashboard to measure, but in the background, there are AI agents which are basically doing the legwork. So what I mean by that, essentially, every single customer at OnePath gets a personalized journey on how are they going to be followed up, how are they going to be nurtured? How are they gonna be, engaged? How are they gonna be closed? How urgent is their opportunity? And they are getting a score per opportunity and per lead. So basically, and this is all AI, by the way. There's no human involvement in this. So it is one of the systems that basically make you go, oh, it just works. Yes, it just works, and it works right out of the gate. So this was actually, what we have built, and what makes OnePath different than, well, pretty much everybody else. Because,
So
go ahead.
let me throw this out there. So this is something that our company is spending an enormous amount of money on. I actually just kind of got a hot flash from that.
Okay.
So here is the difference, you guys, and this is very, very, very important. Typically, you are not going to see an organization in the trade space that has the same methodologies that you would see with one of the top tech companies, meaning that with OnePath, what impressed me, there's a few things that impressed me the most. Like there's a whole laundry list, but this is a big one, is that deep integration.
Yeah.
When you create a knowledge base where you have a hub and spoke model, and your hub is what contains all of your data, and you are connecting to the hub with an agentic network, a pipeline that is capable of evaluating the data inside of your platform. So your field management system, inside House Call Pro or inside Service Titan, all of that data means something. And most of the time what happens is you have contractors that will buy a piece of technology that sits over here in its little bubble and it's not connected to the hub. You have they add another piece of software that sits over here in its bubble and it has a light integration or a really simple integration, maybe with some automation or Zapier or something like that. But it doesn't have a pipeline of data feeding it to make the agentic network more intelligent, more predictive, to be able to react, provide a custom journey for each one of those customers. And that, I think, is brilliant of what you guys have done, is you're actually feeding into that data pipeline. So these agentic agents aren't just another sequence of if, then this statements that you have to map out that have no intelligence behind it.
Yeah. So the whole idea is this. The average, when we were getting to start build OnePath, we did a few we talked to a bunch of contractors, and we found out that the average contractor is using 8 to 12 different software tools. They are using some field service management tool, then they have a online web scheduling widget, they have another one for chat, they have another one for text, they have another one for affiliate management, they have another one for, I don't know, follow-up,
email marketing,
you name it.
And call management, and texting, and then outbounding. Yes.
And what ends up happening is data at the end of the day is in silos and is never talking to one another. Like the
this is like death by a million cuts.
Yes, definitely.
It is, because now everything is so disconnected and discombobulated. Nothing is interoperable. So now you have all of these broken workflows. And this is when you go seek some automation expert that knows how to run a bunch of zaps to try and connect the dots and fix things, which is even worse.
Yeah, because then again, you are kind of getting in a Stockholm syndrome with Zapier, and then you go like, if this, then that, and if that, then this, and so on and so forth. So we kind of took a step back, and then
spaghetti code.
Exactly.
You can't even figure out what breaks, when it breaks, when an API disconnects or something's not working. Now you really have a mess.
Yeah. And I know contractors who are employing more than 15 people to manage their so-called, kind of CRM. But if you are having 15 people to do something like on an information scale and so on, either you are a 1,000-person company or you have a very inefficient system.
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy is not a 1,000-person company. So what I'm trying to articulate is, we took a step back and we said, what if these tools are connected and they talk to each other. Like, what if your web scheduler knows that this particular customer have called you 3 times in the last 2 weeks and so on? So it can actually amplify or augment the priority of the customer's request. What happens if I know from the prior conversations this customer has has a person who needs special care at home, something like that, so that I can give a heads up to my technician when he's going to home and all that stuff. So every single kind of detail that AI can help you to make you a better service company, actually. And what if we implement this idea to the entire customer journey, from the first hello to thank you for being a repeat customer to us? And that essentially became kind of OnePath. Obviously, this made us build a bunch of tools that is connected to the same. So we are at the current instant, we are replacing web schedulers, web chats, voice AI systems, email marketing systems, all of that stuff with a one combined platform. But
And
that being said, go ahead.
And payroll.
And payroll. But that being said, we are integrating to the existing systems out there with an API. So you don't need to necessarily use our tool for a point solution, but you can still use OnePath with other tools so that you can have a more comprehensive approach to your customers' journeys.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure everybody understands just the basics that OnePath does. So number one, like everyone should be getting into an AI-enabled website with AI localization, AI CRO, and AI conversions, i.e., a booking system that's integrated with your website that was designed for agentic agents to be able to book as well as humans.
Yeah.
And you guys prioritized that. You guys made sure that the booking system doesn't follow the same scope as the majority of booking systems that are out there right now, which number one, have too high of a drop off for human beings, let alone agents aren't getting through those. AI agents that are used by consumers who have Apple Intelligence or have Grok in their car or have ChatGPT's agent that can find a home service provider, go to their website, research them, and book the appointment for them, add it to their calendar, send them a text reminder, send them a text 15 minutes before you come, right? You guys planned for the fact that you needed agentic agents to be able to book on there. So that's number one, right? Booking, you need to be able to book 24/7. Web forms, when web forms are filled out, you guys are making sure that all web forms, everybody that submits is getting answers and communication. How fast? How quickly is it happening?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
30 seconds.
In 30 seconds, every web form gets answered. What if they get 100 web form requests because whatever, it's 115 degrees?
Doesn't matter. It's infinitely scalable. So it doesn't really matter. It's the peak season. You're getting, say, 50 web form requests at the same time, 20 voice requests at the same time, 30 chats. It doesn't really matter. You're going to be at the same responsiveness rate all the time across the board.
So online booking, unlimited response rates, and it's going to book.
Yeah.
Online chat, web forms. What happens with LSA?
Same.
Local service ads.
So with LSA, there are two strategies. One, if they send a message to you, OnePath automatically acquires the message and a response to that immediately. And we are now becoming a partner with Google, so they're going to be able to use the book an appointment button on LSA to go to your web schedulers on OnePath and book the appointment directly. So there will be two channels for that.
So I'll throw this out there. If you are unhappy with the performance on your LSA, remember this: Google is prioritizing those companies who have the fastest response rate to the leads that come in. If that's Google's customer first. So who is Google going to give the bulk of the leads to? It's going to be to whatever company has the 24-hour service, 24-hour response times and the fastest response times. So if you're delayed at answering your LSA requests, if you're slow at answering, you're not booking those calls. Why is Google going to send you more LSA leads? They're not. So you're going to get more leads technically because your response time increases. So what about platforms that are aggregator sites like an Angie or a Yelp or something?
We are natively integrated to them. So Yelp, Thumbtack, Angie, BBB, Service Direct, eLocal, any platform that you can imagine. Actually, here's the funny part. The number of platforms that we are not integrated to is less than a handful. Yeah, exactly. And those are mainly platforms that are like quite archaic and so on and so forth. But the others, either voice, either text, either any kind of a written form of communication, we are working on it. Like OnePath is available for that platform. And one of the things that strikes me is like the abandoned calls, like abandoned calls in voice systems that are just sitting here. I know that there are follow-up systems out there that actually solutions. I know that, but the very problem is if that customer calls you back from your call center, that your abandoned call follow-up system has no clue about it again. So basically, it's another disconnection and mismatch between kind of channels. This is why we are kind of advocating a cohesive end-to-end one size one platform to kind of handle it all. Hence the name OnePath, actually. So
exactly that I think about the number of hours our team spends with disconcerting conversations regarding the way that our clients manage inbound leads, especially our paid ads team. Our paid ads team, like, I don't think you could type in bigger, all caps, bold font, red underline, new lead, call them immediately. I mean, this.
81% of customers today are saying that the faster response times is the number one criteria for them to choose the contractor, because nobody wants to spend hours waiting on Yelp or something, or like chat, so trying to figure out who's going to be doing the next big thing. If you have an 11-month baby at home and it's 110 degrees outside and you have a no cool issue, you know what I mean? So those are the stuff that you need to be a perfect organization, and the only way to be so is lean out and automate as many processes as you can. As much as possible.
I would, you guys, for everyone that's listening, like, draw a line in the sand. It is not okay to be slow. So if you have your mom, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, a volunteer, you've got CSRs that are if you have people that you are relying on for the most important element of your business, to have an opportunity to have an at-bat, you've got to nail lead management. You have to have the fastest response times. You have to provide the most amount of ways, the most amount of paths for consumers to be able to convert based on what they love. This has nothing to do with you and the fact that you would prefer a phone call with a human. There are a lot of human beings out there that do not want to talk on the phone. They do not want to have a conversation with anybody. They want to be able to book on their own time. They may prefer text. They may prefer chat. Whatever their preferences, the bottom line is you've got to give consumers, you've got to meet them where they are and give them the ability to go through the path. So if somebody does want to talk to a human, and they're out there, I've seen, from everything I've seen, it's about 8% of the leads that come in, when given the opportunity to independently go through the booking process on their own without human intervention or request a human. I'm seeing about 8% of people actually request a human. What are you seeing on your end? And what are you doing about the people, that small percentage of people who still want to talk to somebody?
Very, very, very similar. So what we have built into OnePath for these types of cases was a 24/7 available human in the loop team to accommodate those types of leads even if they are coming through voice, text, email, whatsoever. They don't need your service title or household pro credentials. They don't need to log into your system. They don't need anything. They are working in OnePath. They are working in a multi-tenant way, and they are completely capable of responding back to the customer in the very 30 seconds that I was talking about. Now, this was a huge effort because if you think about it, you have to put agents, you have to make them available 24/7. You have to make it so streamlined that they don't need to, think about what's the playbook, what's the policy for this contractor when it comes to mini splits and Mitsubishi brands and whatnot and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was a monumental effort, and we did it right, which is why we are not letting any leads slip through the cracks at OnePath, because it's either it's AI or it's a human team. They are supporting one another. Now, when it comes to humans, what we see is, as of today, we see 8% deferral to human team.
You're seeing the same thing.
Exactly. 92% of the tasks are being completed by AI. And what we think is in the next 2 to 3 years, this 8% is going to be smaller and smaller, and that 92 will be bigger and bigger. That being said, there will always be some tasks that require critical problem solving, which some LLMs cannot handle.
Empathy.
Yeah, empathy.
Yes.
And so on. So
yeah.
So you have to have a human in the loop team across the board. So I'm not just talking about voice. So let me give you one example. Actually, let me show you one example.
And while you bring that up, I'm going to say this. Let the human choose.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is our web scheduler. It's basically a drop-in replacement for tools like Schedule Engine, but it's quite different because in this, the customer does not need to click a few things or select from the categories or decide if it's a service request or a maintenance request or anything like that. They don't need to do it. What they need to do is they need to type in their problem and they need to put in their phone number. Once they do so, now there will be two things happening in the background. One, OnePath will understand the job type, and it will match that job type with your field service management job type, like on Service Titan. So it will bring the availabilities in Calendly fashion right away. Now you can see, hey, we have some time slots for today, for tomorrow. What would you prefer? Now, when you click next, it already knows you. How? Because we match your phone number. Now you don't need to enter your name, address, anything like that. Are you still living here? Yes, I do. Perfect. Let's set up your appointment. Just like that. And it knows your name. By the way, if you have a new location, of course, you can add that. And then instead of 2 minutes and 14 different screens and 32 clicks, you are done under 25 seconds. And, you just have an appointment. Just like that. Just like that. It has the price. It has the availability. It knows if your problem is urgent, so it can do that, and so on. Now, let's talk about a different scenario. Yeah, I know it's gross. Bear with me, guys. So let's try to create a different appointment, and let's say that the customer doesn't like what he sees here. Okay, like as an availability. Oh, you are too late. You don't have enough. I need somebody now, and so on. What happens? What happens with your current system today? Now, they end up calling you, and if they are lucky, they are connected to a CSR and try to book an appointment in the next 30 minutes. Now, what happens in OnePath is complete opposite.
Or they likely click back and choose the next option that has availability.
Exactly. And then, so here they say, oh, I need an urgent appointment. You can text me. And then here's why I need some sort of an urgency.
Garfield's in the toilet.
Yeah, Garfield is squeezed in the toilet and so on. Now, what happens is, when you click next, our human team gets an alert in the background. and they start engaging with you in the next 30 seconds, again 24/7. So this is unprecedented, because nobody coming to your web scheduler and stopping short of booking an appointment gets a follow-up today. Nobody on the web chat, nobody on forums, nobody on Angie. Most of our clients are getting back to like Angie's leads in the next 24 hours, and they think that's normal. It's not. It is not. You have to be available 24/7.
I can have an Uber in front of my house in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I can have Uber Eats deliver all wine that I need to restock my wine cabinet in 8 minutes. And with the $20 tip, he'll put it where it goes, right? There is absolutely no excuse for slow today.
Definitely.
It's the single thing that is every customer wants. We could say every customer is different. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone wants everything now. Speed is not optional.
Yeah, it's an obligation. And what we are trying to achieve in OnePath is, we are not going to stop at lead management. We are almost at a very state-of-the-art level for the lead management. But what we want to achieve is, we want to expand to operations, the sales enablement, outbounding, and finance, and in some shape or form, kind of like marketing, not in the sense of like, hey, let's generate a website, but something like, how can we personalize marketing outreach based on the customer's history, so you can have meaningful relationship with the cheapest leads in your database, who are your existing customers, who you never ever call back because you don't have resources to. So what if AI agents do it on your behalf? That's where we are going right now.
Yeah, I am so excited about this, you guys. Like, there's so much to cover. I want to touch on the booking piece real quick, and I know we're getting a 10-minute warning, but
sure.
On the booking piece right now in Searchlight, you can tell that Service Titan, what is it? Schedule Engine's booking system has the least amount of conversions out of every single possible conversion platform there is. And that's not including the fact that I cannot get an AI agent to go on and actually get through the process. Where I pulled up, this is yesterday, I pulled up ChatGPT's new agent, and I was trying to get it to delete all my spam email. But I ran a couple tests instantaneously. ChatGPT agent was able to find a website and be able to book right through OnePath in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
Wildly easy. I literally made the request. I went back to working on some spreadsheet, and next thing you know, it's booked an appointment.
Yeah, basically, because we are walking towards a future. Actually, it's already there, kind of, but we are walking towards a future where AI agents will be calling companies on consumers' behalf, and they want availability, they want people to be there, and so on. So it won't matter if you are using 15 different software tools for 15 different functions or just one, because they will want coherence and comprehensive approach to what they are asking for. And so I think how we define a home services organization will drastically change in the next 3 to 5 years. We will have less people focusing on mundane, repetitive tasks, way more agents doing the legwork for that, but we will have more people focusing on how we can be better and have higher quality service than the next competitor.
They will be focused on the experience, not administrative functions and tasks within an organization.
Because it was easy up until now. Like, you have to book the job, you have to dispatch the job. So dispatch the job based on the highest lead value, and so on and so forth. Well, that's awesome. But think about that. Every single company that I know in home services have difficulty when in the twice a year. One, the busy season, the shoulder of the busy season when they are getting really busy. They don't know how to juggle the cows. And the second part is the low season, so they don't know how to fill the board. But if you think about this is a very seasonal repetitive pattern, like that repeats every year.
Yes.
So you should be aware of kind of when you are really going to be hitting it and when you are really going to be having to fill the board and so on and so forth. But nobody has systems for that. So we want to be the AI operating system for home services. We want to be the system that actually, like, we want OnePath at every contractor, and we want at least one OnePath agent working for every contractor. That's what we are after.
Yeah, and I need my contractors to become so efficient that we get all the unnecessary payroll down.
Yeah.
That we ensure that the functions of the business that are repetitive and administrative are also automated and intelligent, not automated as in IFTTT and Zapier, but
No.
intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that they work 24/7. They don't have a hangover. They don't call in sick. They don't cost taxes. You don't have to pay healthcare. You don't have to do all of this. It just simply works. That is critical. So I have a couple questions. I know you've done a lot of research on other tools, and I feel like we've ran across tools that the tool looks good from the surface, but there's security issues, there's lack of integration issues. There's too difficult onboarding. The customers that are using the platforms are literally in there trying to create the prompts and the if then this statements, because it's not actually an agentic network. It's just a set of workflows. Like, what are you seeing with the tools that have already been released that a lot of the companies are using that are concerning that you guys have solved for?
Well, let me just start from the security issues. So it would be mind-boggling, but I have listened to public recordings that have credit card data on them. I mean, this is outright
Wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, and there's almost like no authentication, no permission scheme, no nothing. It's just there. You share the link, you go to the link, you can listen and hear all the credit card data information of this person with their name, with their address. So it's supremely open to fraud. Okay, so that's number
and
one.
You're supremely open to the liability for utilizing a tool that has no security. See, I've seen the same thing, and I feel like I'm just gonna say being an ass because I am critically I don't know. I don't even know how to say it. I'm pissed that there's tools that are out there that people are using that have zero security, that are literally putting that small business in jeopardy, and they don't even know any better to ask the questions or to look at it. But if you're getting a link to a URL that has your call recording with AI and it's a public link and they show their credit card or explaining their credit card information in there, you need to be really, really concerned, because that is a huge liability and risk for a contractor.
So most contractors that I know, and some of them we work with, were and are just one complaint away from FCC banning their entire phone numbers and from their business, operating an A2P compliance or something like that, just because they are not aware of this. It's not their fault, but kind of. But I mean, they have not been warned about it. So that's the biggest major security issue that I'm seeing right now. So what we do, we are using systems that are PCI compliant, or we don't do it at all. Basically, it's either we don't collect that information on the phone or something like that, or we are redirecting the customer to a PCI compliant link where they can enter their payment information and all that stuff, so we don't have to collect that information on the phone. That's one. Second, high maintenance. most of the systems that I'm seeing out there are supremely high maintenance systems that might actually look cheap, but when you combine them with the overhead that you need to pay for, it becomes an extremely expensive solution.
Yep.
And the reason is, to your point, you need to maintain it. You need to do if this and that type of thing. You need to update the prompt every
Train and train
then,
and train.
and train, and then
and it's the missed opportunity. Well, you have a rookie who shouldn't be prompting.
Yeah.
Sorry, but in the back office trying to reprompt and train your agent instead of your agent being able to train itself from the data inside of your technology. So if you find yourself in an application where someone on onboarding is telling you, well, just keep working on it over the next month, you need to keep retraining this and give it more prompts and more prompts and more prompts. Like red flag number one, pause.
Yeah. You shouldn't be doing it. This is the AI age alternative of I am literally doing everything on Microsoft Excel, something like that. Okay, so you don't have to be doing this. And the third is the lack of adequate integration. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is most companies out there don't focus on how they can integrate better to field service software that these contractors are using every day. Instead of that, they are coming up with like workarounds and like half-baked solutions and all that stuff, which culminates in a worse consumer experience almost always. Because if you know a consumer's history with this company, if you know the last time that she made a phone call to this company, if you know what she said, then you might be a smarter solution. But that requires effort, infrastructure, and obviously resources for that. And most companies don't go that far.
Yeah, you guys, this is an interesting time because you're sitting in this kind of chasm where you have all of these old legacy pieces of technology.
Yeah.
You have the early adopters that attempted to use AI or automations and workflows to build tools that felt like AI but are not. And then you have OnePath, which, I mean, it's no different than in the web space. They have the majority of the industry is still building old clunky WordPress websites that are not AI enabled and not designed for AI search, or it's a proprietary platform, which is a rent-a website that you don't own. You're just dumping, money into an apartment. I mean, they just don't have a lot of options right now.
Yeah.
Which is tough. They're gonna. I hate seeing it, but like, don't sign any long-term contracts right now with technology companies. Please do not sign any long-term contracts because you likely are not asking the right questions. It's likely falling into one of those tools that there's a better option.
Yeah. And right now we are in a transitioning period. So the companies who will adapt to being a comprehensive one single data platform and connected tools type of like service company will prevail, will be leading their markets.
100%.
They are going to be responding better to consumer requests. They are going to be AI
enabled.
AI enabled websites, like GEO enabled websites and all that stuff. They are going to appear in AI searches. They are going to respond faster. They are going to book faster. They are going to serve faster. They're going to serve better. And obviously, they will be able to price and profit more.
Yes.
Put them ahead of the competition.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the transition we are in right now.
100%. I'll give you guys just a snapshot, and I know we need to wrap up. We're getting that flag raised.
Yeah.
I'll give you a snapshot. So a client has an AI-enabled website with AI localization, meaning that the website now presents itself in the native language of whoever's visiting the site. Language isn't a barrier. It has AI-enabled CRO, which means the website redesigns itself automatically to be able to produce the highest conversion. based on what the consumer is interested in. AI-enabled conversion platform. So now 100% of your calls, forms, texts, leads, chats, and so forth are getting immediate responses 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And now you have the AI able to communicate in any language. So there's no more barrier based on language at all. And if the concern is what happens in the field, I now have technicians that are rocking, wherever they are, rocking a pair of Meta glasses and handing one to the consumer when they get to the home and just turning on translation. So you have full translation on the website, full translation through the AI process. 100% of your leads are getting taken care of and booked faster than anybody else in your market. You are found on AI search. And when they're in the home, they're using AI in the home for full translation with Meta. And Google's coming out with the same things. Like, this is a new type of company that will be born right now for those that make a decision to evolve.
Exactly.
That's it. You guys, this is coming fast. Dave, you're amazing. I'm so impressed with you. I had to have you on the show today, and I would love to have you back.
It was a pleasure.
I am not easily impressed.
Thank you. I take this as a compliment.
I'm kind of a wicked witch when it comes to a lot of things. I get in trouble for that. But you, my friend, I mean, you already know. I met Dave and we had a few-hour conversation. Next thing you know, I was like, listen, I have a guest house in Seattle. Come to the house. I need to spend a week with you. I want to know the system in and out. And I don't do that very often. I do that with people who I'm highly impressed by. And you, my friend, are brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
I appreciate
Truly
it.
brilliant, not superficially bullshit brilliant. So
Thank you, Jan. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So you guys, how do they reach OnePath? How do they schedule a demo? Let's throw up a URL.
Yeah, it's just the OnePath.ai, and you go there and then schedule a discovery call, and our team will be reaching back out, and we'll be happy to meet you guys. And I'm sure we have many, many, many things to discuss. So
we do. You guys book that call. No long-term contracts. It's a 2-hour setup process, and you don't have to configure jack once it's set up.
Yeah,
it just works. We need our clients to be utilizing OnePath. It is so critical. If you are a CI Web Group customer, trust me, we're going to be on your butt about scheduling this call. So, Dave, thank you so much. And for everybody that took time out of your busy schedule to be here with you, to be here with us today, we appreciate you taking a moment, especially during the middle of summer, to work on your business instead of in your business. You guys, those are the ones who will thrive in the new era of AI. Take time, share the podcast, give us a comment, leave us a like, send me a personal note. You know, it doesn't have to be too fancy or professional. Send me a note if you want to hear more from Dave or you want us to cover another topic when he's on the next show. You guys ask. I know Dave would be happy to come back and join us.
I would be, definitely. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to all the people out there. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Jen. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, Miss Krista, who's behind the scenes making us on time and staying on schedule. With that, we're out of here. Thank you.
Cheers.